everyone! Welcome back to Charmed Rewind! In the post-Halloween slump. First Halloween ends, then we have to watch Charmed.
Halloween is truly dead.
So this time around on the poll, there was a tie. Which means, I guess we're doing 2 episodes this month.
Mm-hmm.
And it was a season 6 and season 7 episode. So we're in the shit.
Mm-hmm.
Well, bye everyone. Anyway, we're going to do the first one chronologically in the show. So the one we're doing today is season 6, episode 3, Forget Me, ... not. So,
promo title was Dragon Heat or some shit like that.
Yeah. What was it you found out about the promo besides that?
That is, right before the premiere of Tarzan.
Oh, yeah. WB's Tarzan. Should have lasted longer.
Dragon's Heat.
Dragon's Heat.
Tonight and then, like, they're all fight fire with fire.
See the picture? Okay, this Dragon's Heat thing. They have clearly, like, they're trying to make them all sexy in this promo photo. And they have Alyssa Milano's head pasted onto someone else's body. Because this is not her back. She has, like, a giant tattoo on the back of her neck and on her shoulder. None of those are present. Is that her tattoo or is that an earring?
I don't know.
I think it's an earring.
Yeah, maybe it's an earring.
Because that's not what her tattoo is. I think it's just an earring and they've pasted her over someone else's body. I don't know. Anyway, maybe this is noteworthy to some people. Tonight they fight fire with fire. I guess that's true. And then
fight fire with babies.
Was WB's Tarzan better or worse than Charmed? It was shorter for sure.
Yeah, so therefore it's better.
Anyway, we should jump into this episode. Anything else before we start?
No.
First shot we get is a rainy night outside of the Halliwell Manor. We've begun in media res. So Paige, Phoebe, and Piper are on the run. They orb in, they got Wyatt with them. They are being chased by something nefarious. Who should appear but the cleaners? Dun dun dun.
I said, who should appear but Piper? Dun dun dun.
Dun. She was the enemy all along. I mean, that really is the lesson of this episode. Piper's stupidity is why everything happens. So this is the canonical first appearance of the cleaners. We talked about them on the podcast before.
Magic's been exposed before, and there were no cleaners to be found.
Yeah, this was really late to introduce this into the lore. The cleaners are these neutral entities powered by good and evil, and their job is to just clean up exposure to magic. But this has been a major plot point in the show before. Like, the season 3 finale with Prue involved, like, exposure and all this stuff. Like, the cleaners were never mentioned, never showed up, so it's a little late to introduce them. And for all the hype they get in this episode, they're kind of wiener-fied even this season. Like, they don't even get a season before. Like, then they're at the trial and then being manipulated by Barbas or whatever. Like, really doesn't seem like they amount to much. But they are after Wyatt. Something big has happened. We don't know what yet, because we've started in the middle of the story. One of them says, I don't know, resistance is futile or something. I don't know. Some stupid thing. Piper immediately tries to blow them up. And one of them, like, he, like, catches her fireball in his hand and squishes it out. That's gotta be tough for her. She's used to just blowing up her problems.
I don't know what to do if I can't just raise my hand slightly and end the issue.
I don't have a solution for this. I'm used to just blowing things up. They teleport Wyatt into their arms, toss the girls to the floor. So Piper calls Leo. At this point, they are on the outs. This is right after the Valkyrie episode. He's an elder at the time. They're separated because of Chris's stupid plan. The cleaners realize that while Leo is an elder now, he is still largely responsible for the exposition dumps. So they ask him to explain. But he opts not to explain. He's just like, I can't do anything. What are you gonna do? This will be undermined later in Charmed.
Mr. Clean is the ultimate power.
No!
They call in Mr. Clean. Oh! Wipes Leo's
he
face
gets a
right
magic
off.
eraser and just wipes him out of existence. The fact that he's like, well, the elders can't do anything. Oh, and then later it's like they're being called at a trial, like, the cleaners are such wieners.
Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean, Mr. Clean.
So the cleaners proceed to wipe away any trace of Wyatt or their memories of him. Toys turn into lamps, cribs turn into closets, and poorly photoshopped pictures morphs that he's no longer in them.
They did not use a magic eraser, though, because as we find out, they left a bunch of crumbs behind.
Yeah, they're really not good at their jobs, even in their first episode, for all of the, the talk about them.
Mm-hmm.
This picture, though, I did want to say, they've clearly photoshopped Wyatt in so that they could do the effect of him disappearing. But they knew it didn't look very good, like it looked cut out, so they added some sort of like Photoshop filter to it. Like paint daubs or something. Like it doesn't look like a normal photo, so it is kind of weird when he disappears from it.
Right.
Rather than just taking more than one photo, take one with him in it and then one with him out, but they've opted
all they
for
did
the
before,
dumb option.
like, they didn't really want to take a picture with him in the first place. So they just took a picture of him on his own, cut him out, and then taped it to their picture.
We're not working with a baby.
Stupid baby.
Photoshop him in.
I'd like to forget this sack of shit.
So they've forgotten everything. The cleaners are gone, and then Piper looks at Leo and is like,
Why are you here?
Oh, better go.
yeah, that's exactly what it was. He says, I don't know, better go. And it's like, what? If you just forgot why you were in a place, that's your reaction? Like,
Yeah.
what? No one acts like a person acts in this episode.
No.
When he orbs out, presumably he leaves a pee puddle behind him. Like, oh, better go.
Right. Piss off the true source of all evil, Piper.
Clean up your piss, Leo. Wait, why are you here? I want you to be separate from us, but clean your piss.
Don't use the cleaners either. They won't do a great job at it.
No, they're just going to leave piss behind, but you just don't remember why the piss is there.
Why is this here?
Seems like they should do more than that, but whatever.
How could I have ever forgotten this pee puddle? It's so important to me. All the memories are back. Cleaners suck.
I think before they did the cleaner stuff, they had some sort of memory powder that was like in limited quantities you could give to people. So I think that was part. I mean, obviously, big exposure, it's not going to cover that, but I think the show already did sort of have a thing they forgot about.
Because the cleaners got them.
Because the cleaners forgot and made them forget.
Mr. Clean.
Anyway, we have the opening credits, and we come back with replacement music that sounds like sitcom segue
The Big
music
Show.
or something. Yeah, like something has happened on Family Matters, and they're going back to the house to. Yeah, like that. Piper's in the kitchen, and Paige comes in so they can talk about stain removal. Paige got coffee spilled on her shirt yesterday, but she doesn't remember how it happened.
I feel like we had some cleaners or something here yesterday. Why didn't they get this?
They why don't we use a magic eraser on it? Wait a minute.
Wait, Mr. Clean Cleaners?
Wait.
Mr. Clean gets rid of dirt and grime and grease in just a minute.
She can't afford to pay the dry clean bill on this shirt at her shitty temp job. So Piper goes,
Why don't you just quit?
You have so much money, obviously.
This is while Piper's rummaging through her fridge with an American flag on it.
She also has a Confederate flag.
Wait a minute.
It's tradition, shut up. In California, we love the South.
Paige looks like she's wearing an apron with nothing under it. It's a weird dress.
Yeah.
Like it looks like it's not an outfit. In this particular episode, Paige wants a life outside of magic. She flip-flops quite frequently, but this is her current status.
Right.
And that means she can't quit temp jobs she doesn't like. Somehow that
you also need money. They all supposedly need money, since they're also supposedly not allowed to personal gain themselves. So, even though Piper never works at her club, and Phoebe just,
Yeah, the only time we see the club in this episode is apparently Chris bumming around in there, so who's running it? Apparently no one.
Peebe's getting paid mega bucks because her shitty column's the only thing keeping this garbage paper afloat.
I mean, maybe. Apparently she's some stupid fucking column celebrity, but she wouldn't share her money with her sisters. You know that.
Garbage paper in the world.
Well, okay, at this point she has her sugar daddy who owns the paper, Jason. Maybe that's how she gets out of things.
Oh, that might explain some shit later in this episode.
Yeah, maybe that's why she doesn't get fired, because her sugar daddy steps in.
Fuck you, Phoebe.
He doesn't get a single mention in this episode, but they are together at this point, supposedly. I think he's like
I feel like that
trip.
should have been mentioned, because that if they invoked that would explain why she's not fired.
Yeah, because it was a plot point, a minor plot point in the Valkyrie episode before, when she gets her empathy powers. She's like making out with some other guy and like going on a date with him, and then she's just like, well, forget Jason or whatever. He's on a business trip. Anyway, Paige is like, well, I should stick with this temp job, because the last job that I had was as the dog trainer. I was helping someone. She's talking about the Joe Millionaire dog situation from the last episode. Piper cynically says she'll probably never help someone like that again, so who cares?
Never likelihood of that happening.
Immediately in this episode she does, but Piper's like,
don't try.
Paige, come here.
What's the difference between Piper not knowing she has a son and knowing she has a son? She's the same awful person no matter what.
Pretty much. Like, happens
Piper,
later when
Paige.
she remembers her stupid son. There's very little change.
Yeah. I'm not sure if I said Paige or Piper there, but I meant Piper. If I said it, Pager.
Together we are Pager.
They do a fusion dance.
Yeah. It says here, get a better show.
Paige uses some sort of analogy involving horses and merry-go-rounds, and Piper's like, no, it's a carousel, because merry-go-rounds have multiple animals, carousels have horses.
And Paige is like, how could you know that if you don't have a baby?
Yeah.
Like, oh, yeah!
They act like this is horribly obscure knowledge. That's the only reason I'm even mentioning this. This is such a fucking pointless dialogue exchange, but it's plot important, because why would she know this unless she had a baby? She's like,
How do I know this?
and then a phantom baby coo here in the distance.
Really stupid things. Oh, the next one,
there is like a carousel toy too that's supposed to be part of that, but I mean,
I love the next hint that Piper does something that she could only do if she had a baby. Was she like makes stupid Phoebe's lunch and cuts it up like she's a baby? Remember, this is a woman who used to be a chef, has aspirations apparently still of being a chef. She apparently forgot how to do any cooking unless it's for a baby.
She's distracted. She had to do. She was just in baby mode and she didn't know why.
I was thinking about the carousel merry-go-round. Here for baby Phoebe.
Yeah, well, speaking of that scene, Phoebe calls for Piper downstairs. Apparently Piper is her servant.
She's like, Piper, come down with my breakfast.
And for some reason, Piper does not complain about this. She's carrying around a tray of her breakfast. Like, this, maybe Wyatt being gone has changed her in that way. I don't know why, but it seems weird that she wouldn't immediately blow her up for doing this.
Yeah, off day for Piper.
This is so fucking frustrating. This is part of Phoebe's empathy powers. She just got them in the last episode, and she can't control them very well. So she's decided she's going to hole up in the basement until she can get it under control. You would think this would make her sensitive to her sister's feelings and not treat them like slaves, but it just means she makes out with random guys who find her hot. They're like, oh, she made out with a delivery guy. Oh, because she's so hot, she channeled his feelings.
Yeah, she got a boner for herself. Whoa!
Ugh. This is possibly the most annoying Phoebe is outside of the Cole stuff, is the empathy powers they never fucking figured out what to do with, because all she does is complain about other people feeling things.
Can you not feel this right now?
Yeah.
I can't deal with your feelings.
Oh, it is so annoying.
Why are you the way that you are?
So Paige and Piper come downstairs, and Phoebe tells them to stay behind the yellow line. She's got a yellow line under the stairs. Yeah, she doesn't want to feel any of their stupid emotions. Phoebe is wearing her worst outfit of the episode. She wears some doozies. This is terrible. It's like a swimming vest with bows or something that kind of splits down the middle with these low-rise pants with a giant butterfly across the ass.
Yeah, it just kind of looks like handprints, like she was painting and then accidentally put her hands
She had
on
a
her
wedgie
ass.
and then this is awful. It's like a culmination of terrible early 2000s trends and just general badness. She also has a band-aid on her head, but she can't remember how she injured herself. She's like, I guess I hit my head and I just don't remember stuff. I'm not too concerned about a lapse of memory and a head injury. She finally allows Piper to serve her breakfast. She's like, fine, you can come over.
It's really weird when Piper starts breastfeeding her.
I don't know why. I just felt like this was the right thing to do.
And then, like, Phoebe's like,
I guess.
Phoebe's like, burp me.
Don't feel things while I'm breastfeeding from you. I can't deal with this right now.
And glad I'm
You're
lactating poison.
You poisoned me, you son of a bitch!
she notices that Piper's feeling insecure. She's cut off the crust of her sandwich, cut her eggs into bits, given her milk and applesauce, because Phoebe's a literal baby. Phoebe receives a call from Elise, chewing her out for messing up the office the day before, but Phoebe doesn't remember any of this. She doesn't understand. She didn't come in the day before, and no one at work does anything but praise her, so this is confusing to her.
This is such a light thing to complain about, considering what we see that she actually did once the scene plays out.
So, I wrote this down here. This is a general question about this episode. Why didn't the cleaners make anyone forget the other stuff that had to do with Wyatt? Like, other people didn't forget this stuff. It's just them, so they're just setting up to remember this. Like, it doesn't seem like they really cleaned up anything.
Mr. Clean will clean your whole house and everything that's in it.
I don't know why they all forgot, random things from the day that had nothing to do with Wyatt, because they've apparently erased everything every other day just that has specifically to do with Wyatt, because it's not like they've wiped out their lives for the last so many years that Wyatt's been around.
It's not like they woke up and it was suddenly like a year later after, she had Wyatt or whatever. Like,
so it's like they meticulously did all this and then got really sloppy at the end. Like, and then this last day, I'll just clear the entire day. Who cares? Nothing happened, right?
Why wouldn't they fill in the blank with something else? Like, it just feels like a really inefficient way to do this.
Sloppy work, cleaners.
Mr. Clean.
So Paige is at her temp job, and one of her coworkers passes by distraught. Their boss fired her for not going on another date with him. I guess they went on a date that went badly, or she didn't really want to go to, and he was being sexist and assaulty and awful. Paige was supposed to be there to support her, but she didn't show up, and Paige doesn't remember any of this. So the sexist boss guy, he comes out, and he's just, like, not even hiding it. Like, it's like, you gotta be more subtle about this if you don't want to get, like, sued or get in trouble for this stuff.
Out the door as a pile of slime.
He's got, like, the slime trail behind him, and he's, like, calling Paige the wrong name. And he's like, sit your pretty ass down and answer
right on my face, sweet cheeks.
He's grabbing Phoebe's ass and leaving handprints. And she's just like,
that's how that happened.
I like that. I felt your sexism, and I loved it.
Meanwhile, the Charmed One's freshly appointed White Lighter, Chris, is slumming it up in P3. He's in a back room on a couch in his underwear, a stack of beer cases,
like
and a pizza
down.
box. Yeah, he's being even worse than the sexist boss. He's sitting there hard at work. Why did the elders make him their fucking White Lighter? He's just sitting there like a piece of trash.
He was literally hard at work because he just boned his church.
Yeah. He's sitting there just Jacking off afterwards.
Leo just orbs in midstream.
Shakes his head and sighs. Chris. This whole Chris story is frustrating, all the inconsistencies. Like, it makes no fucking sense. We talked about it in the last episode. Them acting like he's super evil, he's got some other plan, but somehow, even though he can't heal or do anything the things Whitelighters do, the elders have appointed him. Leo is a Whitelighter. Surely he can change this. He's like, elder. Or he's an elder, sorry. The elders, like, he's one of the elders, but he doesn't change any of this stuff, even though he can. Even though he knows that Chris blew him up and sent him to Valhalla and all this shit. And then, like, he's sitting there slumming it up, and it's like, even in the alternate history, or the changed history when Wyatt's around again, he's still a piece of shit sleeping in P3, not doing anything. So... I don't know why.
How dumb this interaction is, which is also very sloppy work by the cleaners. He comes in and is like, so why did you come from the future anyways? Like, I don't know. Like, why would he still be there if Wyatt didn't exist? Like, it just doesn't make any sense, because they're changing history. Well, they aren't, though. They're just wiping things and giving people different histories in their head. They're not actually going back in time.
I guess.
So it's just, they should have come up with some reason why Future Boy is there.
The elders take it on his word that he's a guy from the future there to stop Wyatt or save Wyatt from something happening to him, but won't say what. And the elders are just like, yeah, I'll point him the Whitelighter and leave him there. And it's like, what? Why would you assign another Whitelighter? Even if you're not going to do anything about this weirdo, why is he the one in charge of these witches prophesied to save the world or whatever? Like, the most powerful witches, they're supposed to be protected. They just have no one.
Because they're dicks.
They're so stupid. I did want to note, too, when Leo orbs in to bitch at him, there's another American flag next to him. Why the pastiche of flags going on in this episode?
Where is this back room? It looks like there's a big room over in the side, too. It's like, that doesn't lead to the club, does it? It
might be, it's supposed to be like a green room for the bands that are playing there, because there's a bunch of band posters and stuff, so... Maybe.
So I'm just guessing, like, they come in and then they see this piece of shit in his underwear upside down on a couch.
Covered in stains, farting.
Yeah, can't wait to play this place.
Well, apparently no one's working or doing anything there anyway.
And it's a ghost town anyway, so yeah. They're just paying to have this building exist and do nothing with it.
They sit on the couch and slip on the cum, like, ew, what? What is that? Ew.
And meanwhile, Chris is stealing beers as well.
Yeah, he's stealing beers. He's like, I'll pay for that. With what, Future Boy? What are you making money with? Shut up.
No, the elders always pay out. Wait, no, they don't.
I bought my future coins. They're NFTs. Just shut up. You know NFTs aren't around by the time it's your future. Leo's like, you shouldn't be sleeping with your charge. You're supposed to protect her. And then the girl comes in and she's like, oh, he was using protection.
That's why they had the sitcom music.
Leo says that this is against the rules. He is being kind of a hypocrite, Chris points out. You know, he did sleep
said, like,
with
father,
Mary.
like son, dad. He's like, what?
He looks at the camera, breaks the fourth wall. I mean, I guess Leo's just like, you can't casually sleep around. It has to be love. I don't know. Maybe that's what he's getting at. Like, you can sleep with your charge if you marry him.
You can sleep with her, but you're going to have to go on an adventure with Q as a trucker and stuff. It's a whole thing. Yeah.
Chris is like, I don't have anything pressing going on anyway. And then that's when they have the exchange about, well, why'd you come here from the future? He's like, And no one cares.
Yeah.
They don't seem to think that's weird.
I think you just farted, and that's when he leaves.
Yeah. It's weird, too, because later the cleaners are like, well, you know, even if you guys do this again and we wipe your memories, you're just going to chalk it up to like, you know, scatterbrained, or that, you know, you're just going to be like, oh, well, I guess I just spaced something. So it doesn't seem like this is the cleaners making people act this way to be like, I don't remember why I came here from the future. Oh, well.
Mm-hmm.
It just seems to be Chris is a weirdo.
Yeah.
They hear a phantom baby laugh, or Leo hears it anyway. And he's like, anyway, I'm gonna go. So, meanwhile, Phoebe...
Chris, you ever been haunted by a baby?
Nope, not this time. We made it up. So, meanwhile, Phoebe goes into work. She's changed out of her previous outfit and into an off-the-shoulder jean jacket. Comedy music plays, so you know the scene's supposed to be funny. It's not, but it's supposed to be. The whole place is a mess. People are walking around with comical injuries. They got neck braces and broken noses. They all look at Phoebe as if she has caused this, but really, when you see what happened, she was part of it, but not really.
It.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of on them.
It's done by everyone, but she does start it.
Yeah. So Phoebe has caused this in some way, but the show can't be mean to her for 1 fucking second, so her coworker Frank comes over to her to say that he wishes he could do what she did and that he loves her. Yeah!
And then Elise, as she's berating her, also says, like, don't think for a second, if you weren't the thing keeping this paper going, and you wouldn't be fired because you didn't know him!
Yeah, Elise calls her into her office, and she's like, the only reason I'm not bringing lawyers in is because I want to get an explanation from you. Because you're such an asset to the paper, that's the only reason you're not fired. And it's like, shut up. Even when it's super serious, like she could be fired, they're like, you are so famous and wonderful and keeping us afloat. You're great. I'm mad at you, but you are the thing keeping us together. But they don't mention the fact she's sleeping with the boss, too. I think that's why she's still around.
Which is what they should have invoked to make it make any sense, because when you see how this started, and Phoebe pulls Elise over, like she turns her around, grabs her shoulder, and then just punches her in the face.
Yeah.
Like, your boss is gonna either have charges pressed against you or you'll be fired. Not just gonna be like can you tell me why you just sucker punched me yesterday?
Well, okay,
I feel like this is some kind of communication breakdown down the line. Like,
do
we need better management in here for you, Phoebe?
Yeah, I mean, okay, I guess realistically your boss would fire you. If Elise thought she was such an asset to the paper, she could have an explanation for it. She could excuse or not press charges for being punched in the face and decide not to do that.
Yes,
but there's a bunch of other things that happened that would be harder. But I will say, I think everyone was responsible for this with the way that it turns out. Like, she is the first punch, but all the other punches really not her responsibility.
No, it's stupid. It was apparently an office full of people ready to kill each other.
Yeah. So Phoebe doesn't know what she's talking about. She says this all happened the previous day, that she was like doing something. And Elise grabs her by the shoulders, triggering a vision of her beating people up in yet another terrible shirt. So Phoebe feigns being sick and runs away. Again, I don't know why Elise is so forgiving about this. I feel like even if you're willing to forgive this, if you get an explanation, if she's like, bye, after that, you're probably not getting away with it. But I guess they undid it before she had to face the responsibility for her actions.
I'm in need of a guilt remover spell.
Meanwhile, Piper is on the street for some reason. I don't know why. She sees a dad she's working the street. She sees a dad with some groceries in one hand and a baby in the other.
Yeah.
And the baby's crying. He doesn't know how to settle the baby down. So she comes over to give him some tips.
Yeah, this is like amazing. Only someone who's an expert at babies could tell him to do this. She goes, rock the baby back and forth and go, shh. How did you know this secret baby trick? Only doctors don't want you to know this. This is a big secret. I saw this on a big video on YouTube.
Holy shit, only moms would know that, not stupid, dumb dads like me. Thanks a lot. I was just gonna squish this Wonder Bread into his face and hope that he settled down, but you must be a great mom.
Can I eat one of those diapers?
She makes it awkward and rightfully decides to leave. She's like, bye.
Meanwhile, the guy has one of the diapers on by the time she leaves.
He's put it over his face and he's suffocating himself.
Is this how diapers work? Save me! Oh, baby Sage!
Not this time.
Stomps on him, steals his kid.
Now I have one. I always wanted kids.
Touchdown!
Anyway.
Babies don't like that. New tip.
I thought I knew that, but I forgot, I guess.
Piper's like on the verge of having like Piper's baby pit, is what I call them. They're like rival Phoebes.
She thought that when she spiked a baby, they would orb out. And she didn't know why she thought that, but it's almost as if she'd done that many times before.
Have magic powers.
She returns home to find Leo staring stoically at the closet that was previously a crib. Like, while piano music plays.
Leo, it stinks in here. Did you use the washroom? I see a lighter poops in there. I'm gonna kill you.
You left a stinker. He just came home to take a shit.
Or be shit in the toilet.
You orb that out to Whiteliner Land. Come on.
Don't let me use the toilet in Whiteliner Land. He said I stink out the place too much. I have to orb you to do it.
Yeah.
This is elder poops. You son of a bitch.
I like the implication with this closet. It's a clothes closet. It's full of clothes. So without Wyatt, they would have more clothes, I guess.
Yeah, they should have had like some really cool shit in there. Like, wow, without Wyatt, we could have all
our
this.
lives are better. And you know what? True. Wyatt's going to be evil Nickelback in the future. He does nothing but cause problems. This is a better timeline.
Even when Wyatt's good again, all he does is come back in time with Chris. We can't use our powers anymore to cheat at Xbox.
Yeah, I was playing my Xbox and then my powers went away. What's up with that?
Can you help me, Mommy?
So Leo and Piper note that they've both been hearing a phantom baby, and they wonder why they never had kids. But there's no time for that. Phoebe is yelling at Piper to come upstairs. Leo's like, well, I mean, if you need help, I should be around. Because Piper's telling him, like, she wants him to go away. They need to be separate because it's too hard. Blee, blee, blee. He's like, well, what if you need help? And she's like, well, Chris is our Whitelighter now. And then Leo's like, well, I gave him another charge. So Piper's like, we'll handle it alone. Again, why don't they have another Whitelighter? They don't have a short supply of Whitelighters.
Mm-hmm.
This is confusing.
There's no point to his other charge than to just give the scene where Chris is banging some other girl.
Yeah. It's just to give him something to do. I think it's just a contractual obligation. Because they had nothing for him to do in this episode, so they're like,
Yeah.
Even though, I mean, Wyatt's such a big part of his story, and yet they refuse to utilize him in any interesting way.
Mm-hmm.
Because Chris sucks. So Paige and Phoebe are in the attic discussing their lapses in memory. Phoebe notes that Elise is usually mad at her, which is just blatantly untrue.
Mm-hmm.
Usually Elise is like kissing her butt all the time. What is she talking about?
I'm tough but fair.
Yeah, she's just a pushover.
Lets her get away with anything.
Yeah, even punching her in the face.
Yeah.
I'll give you a chance to explain it.
The next day.
Did not call the police.
Yeah, just like, why'd Phoebe punch me? Well, I'll see tomorrow.
Didn't the hospital notice when like a massive injuries came in? Like, didn't they report what happened or something?
What caused this? Oh, the best advice columnist in the world is what caused this. We're so lucky to have her beat on us.
And then a light shines on her billboard through the hospital window.
Ask Phoebe why you suck.
Call Phoebe. She's listening. I don't know. I just wanted to make a Frasier reference.
Yeah. It'll be Phoebe moving in with her kid in the new charmed boot.
Is Phoebe's kid gay? No, just living with a firefighter or living with a firefighter friend's wife or something. Whoa, what a drama.
Too bad all my family is still in San Francisco and we'll never see them. Do Phoebe.
But one of the kids is here and it's identical to Piper. Tossed salad and scrambled eggs.
Anyway, enough about the Frasier reboot. So, Piper comes upstairs and they ask if she's forgotten anything. They explain the whole situation, and she's like, well, that's really dumb to ask me to remember what I've forgotten. Oh yeah, I guess I forgot most of yesterday. Is that noteworthy?
Yeah, I love that she berates her for no reason. You're asking me to remember what I forgot? Yeah, come to think of it, I did forget a large chunk of yesterday.
Yeah, I guess. I didn't really think about it, but all of yesterday is gone?
That's a dumb question. Actually, I can answer that easily.
Speaking of makes it easy, Paige and Phoebe wrote a spell to help them all remember. So they cast it. This is, like in like a couple minutes. They're like, yeah, we got the spell.
I love that the spell's like, if this is not a prank, let us remember or something.
No, here's the words. If this is not a prank, help us to fill in the blanks.
Right.
That's part of it anyway.
So it's like, if it was a prank, it wouldn't work then?
I guess. No pranking. This is an unrealistically powerful spell. Because not only does this help them slightly remember, this rewinds the day.
Yeah.
They can rewind the day. So this seems like
rewinds the day and also blocks the cleaners from re-wiping their memories.
Yeah, this would be extraordinarily helpful. Say if someone died, or if they rewound it, like they messed with it to rewind to when Prue was still alive. I mean, they can do anything, like undo anything.
Do we really want to have to save people, though?
And they just save.
If we save innocents, they're going to expect us to save innocents, and I just can't deal with that right now. I've got so many columns, and if these people are alive, they're going to be bugging me for help.
This is, I wouldn't say time travel, but time travel adjacent, because they rewound the day.
Yeah,
and they act like time travel is so difficult to do. Mm-hmm. And yet they're just easily doing this with like a few words they made up on a piece of paper. It's not even like they need ingredients. They need to do, like they just say, if it's not a prank, a bad rhyme.
Yeah.
And then they rewind the day a la Superman.
Yeah, that's definitely time travel in that one.
I mean, I guess they rewound the day, but they only remembered. It's not like there were doubles of them. Like they didn't travel
they're
back.
still in their old bodies, but they have all the memories.
I mean, I guess you could call it time travel because it's similar to what they did in Morality Bites. They jump into their future selves, so maybe they jumped into their past selves. I don't know.
Right, they overwrote their past selves, I guess.
Yeah,
they're the ones controlling the day.
Yeah, but they temporarily overwrote their future selves in one instance too. I don't know if you'd consider it that, but I think like this is more powerful and easy than it should have been.
Time travel just gets easier and easier and charmed as we go towards the end.
Yeah, when you get to accidental Lady Godiva and shit.
Yeah, and then our Xbox stopped working, so we came back in time to see if you could help us.
Finale's a big fucking mess. I do love when they cast this spell, how they show the day rewinding is a shitty spin transition.
Yeah, it's like a toilet flush.
Yeah. It's a spin transition to basically the same shot, but they're in their outfits from the beginning of the episode, and it's raining outside, so you know it's back to the sewers. They hear Wyatt crying and rush downstairs, where Piper recalls that she's a mother. Dun 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 dun.
This should be such an emotional punch, but this episode just does nothing with it.
Yeah, there's a lot of throwaways in this episode. It's very strange.
Actually, too, I wanted to bring up that the whole where this episode starts mid-action should be after the sisters have had their memories wiped and not showing us how they got their memories wiped.
Yeah.
Because you'd think part of this would be setting up a mystery, like why are these things slightly off? You would build up to the reveal to the audience that Wyatt doesn't exist apparently anymore.
Yeah, that would be interesting to see what's slightly different there.
Mm-hmm. Instead, they tell us exactly why it's happening and then drop us into the sisters in a mystery trying to figure it out. It's kind of like that episode of TNG Clues where everything's slightly off, but that episode waited to tell you why things were slightly off, and instead of just telling you at the beginning, like, this is why things are off. Anyway, why are things off?
Yeah, it just feels like there was a network note, like, dumb it down, please. Yeah, that's us. I bet you're wondering how we got here.
Okay. Not very interesting, though. Anyway, the baby thing, it's just it's so flat. Piper, I had a baby. How could I forget that? Oh, well. Watch TV, you little shit. I'm going to the
They
kitchen.
immediately leave him alone. This is ridiculous. But the way that the spell worked, it rewound the day, but it didn't fill in the blanks. They have to, like, it'll help them fill in the blanks as they relive the day, so they don't remember everything immediately. So they remember Wyatt now. Phoebe channels Wyatt's emotions and uses a baby voice to say he's feeling sad, which was obvious by the way he was fussing and acting sad. Do you need Phoebe to tell you?
No, thank fuck for Phoebe.
A baby going, yeah, oh, he's sad. Thanks, Phoebe. Oh, sorry.
He's sad. He's feeling very, very sad.
Well, I know the baby secret. You rock him a little bit and go, shh. She really is a mother.
And then Paige and Phoebe are with the Wonder Bread at the ready to stuff in his face. Like, oh, is that it?
Oh my goodness.
She uses this moment of connection with her nephew, where she's feeling his emotions, to say this is why she locks herself in the basement. It's all about her.
Yeah, I'm feeling this baby's emotion. Get this nephew away from me. I gotta go to the basement.
They're such likable main characters is the thing.
It's like they have a moment where you're like, this is something, and then she has to make it about herself in a shitty way, where it's like, you don't have to write it this way.
No.
There's no reason to do this. She does help Piper figure out that he doesn't want to play with a stupid bear toy. He wants to watch TV. And Piper states that she's a failure as a mom. True.
She's a failure as a mom as she leaves her baby unattended again.
Yeah, that's what... Right after that, they're like, let's leave Wyatt alone in this room, even though they know by this point that Wyatt is the thing that was erased. Whatever happened had to do with Wyatt, so let's immediately leave him alone in the next room for no reason. It's not like, oh, let's protect him from hearing this. It's like he's too young to understand everything they're talking about. So why did they leave him in this room other than because the plot has to happen?
Yep.
This is so stupid, especially because, like, Piper lost her kid. She didn't remember her child, and now she's just like, oh yeah, I'm over it. Next room.
Yeah, they don't care about any, like, acting or building anything up emotionally. This show just doesn't care.
This whole thing happens because of Piper. It's all because of Piper's stupidity. Because this episode involves exposure of magic and Wyatt because of his powers. And Piper had the chance to bind his powers until he was old enough to control them, and doesn't. Like, she's like, oh, our powers were bound, so blee, 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 or, I want them to have, like, a life that we didn't have, and I want them to know their heritage. She does this with Chris, too. And it's so stupid. Because their circumstances are completely different. They weren't told about their heritage. And it's like, well, you just tell them about their heritage and then let them use their powers when they understand how to use them. Babies need to learn things.
Yeah.
It's like when you have a license to drive. You don't just throw a baby behind a wheel and let them drive.
It's absolutely asinine, especially after her baby almost kills himself with a dragon.
Yeah, the baby could kill himself, could kill other people. Probably does in this episode.
Yeah, we don't get any confirmation, about whether a bunch of people just died or not. Like, if the end of this episode had at least been Piper going, it was a mistake to leave his powers unbound. But of course not. Of course not.
Yeah, they don't even contemplate the idea of binding his powers in this episode, when this should be the one where it comes up the most. And if they're gonna say they want magic babies on the show, I don't know why, they need to come up with a compelling reason why they can't have their powers bound, besides Piper just doesn't want to.
Yeah, even though she's always going on and on about a normal life. But then I also want a magic baby almost killing himself every day because he doesn't understand the powers he's throwing around.
Yeah, because he is a literal baby.
I'm a little baby.
So when they leave, Wyatt uses his powers to change the channel on the TV until he comes across some bad CGI dragons and some stock suspense music. Like, this is supposed to be a show, but all they have is some... I don't even know if this was a dragon they created for the show, or maybe it was also a stock effect, but they, they're just flying across a sky and that's it. Just two CGI dragon models. with like the dun, 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 dun.
That's why it looks so bad in the actual episode, because you just teleported it out of a
it's
batch.
supposed to be a bad CGI
that was what they were going
for. It's not that they were shooting higher than their budget would allow in 2003 in the WB.
Mm-hmm.
So in the next room, the girls are trying to figure out what they're going to do, and Phoebe bitches at Paige that she shouldn't be impatient with her. She's like, I'm feeling too much today. I don't need this too.
Just can't stand her in that
Every
scene.
fucking scene with her. This is what they do with their empathy powers.
Make her more self-centered than ever.
Yeah, I can't think of one instance where her empathy power helped someone. Not one instance. All it is an excuse for her to be selfish and mean.
Somehow it's like, let me take what you're feeling and turn it into something about me.
Yeah, all it is so she can turn all of the stories, make it her story, and that's it.
Yeah.
Stop ganging up on me!
So Paige is like, well, we need to relive the day, do everything like we were going to do, and look for clues as to why we forgot Wyatt. And Piper says, well, we should be careful not to do it exactly there, because otherwise we're going to end up where we started. Which is why they left Wyatt alone, when that's the only thing they know, is that it involves him. They're like, let's not do the same thing. Anyway, bye. Buy it, Wyatt.
Don't start a Wyatt.
Phoebe will not listen to that. Phoebe is like, well, maybe this time I won't punch everyone at work and put my job on the line. And Paige is like, this is the only way to save Wyatt. Why? They don't know what's happening.
Yeah.
And in the end, it wasn't the only way to save Wyatt, because it had nothing to do with Wyatt. This was all her own
unconnected.
Shit. Yeah. What's she talking about? Wyatt is still watching the stock music dragons, and decides that he's going to summon one out of the TV. Because binding the baby's powers would be stupid. So Wyatt summons a fucking dragon in this episode. This is the most egregious example of why Piper is an idiot for not binding her baby's powers.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think this is even the first time he's killed someone. He did stab someone with Excalibur in an episode when he was younger, so I'm just saying he's a murderous demon.
Yep.
Maybe that's why he became evil Nickelback. He was just predisposed to evil. So the dragon appears outside and breaks open the door in the conservatory. Seems very gentle for a dragon, compared to like later anyway.
Mm-hmm.
Somehow the only thing that they hear is a vase breaking. They don't hear the door blasting open or the dragon noises or feel vibrations from a giant animal walking around. They just hear a vase break. And by the time they get in the room, the dragon's gone. He's gone to San Francisco to fuck it up, I guess. Next, we see the not very interesting origin of Leo giving Chris another charge. He goes, hey, I'm going to give you another charge.
There's Cowpunga, Dad. No. Okay.
Chris he's like, you just want me to stay away from the sisters because you don't trust me. Just because I exploded you and sent you to Valhalla and destroyed your family? Like, where does Chris, he get off?
I would give them another lighter, but we don't want to cast someone for that role, so it's you, I guess.
This story infuriates me, not only because of the inconsistencies, but because it's like they're trying to gaslight the audience about it. Mm-hmm. Because they started it with him exploding him and sending him to Valhalla, and then in that Valhalla episode, they're just like, yeah, Leo, you sure about that? And he's like, maybe not. And then and then the rest of it, it's like, Chris acting self-righteous about him not trusting him or whatever. Mm-hmm. And then later on, they act like, he was the good guy all along, and then pretend all of this murderous shit didn't happen. It's just weird. And fuck Chris. Chris is like, well, I only came from the future to protect Wyatt, and that's it. I don't want to do any of this other stupid shit. I don't know why the elders made him the White Lighter, because I don't think he's even concerned with protecting them. It's just Wyatt, so I don't know. But then he sees that his charge is hot, so he's like, what the hell?
Where's that gonna go?
Why the hell did you do that?
At the Bay Mirror, Phoebe sees Frank, the guy that congratulated her. He's with Elise, and they're fighting about something. I think one of his columns or articles or something Elise didn't like, and he's mad, so Phoebe channels his anger and then punches Elise in the face.
Mm-hmm.
What happens next is absolutely insane, even for this show.
Yeah.
Like, Frank laughs at this, and then a random UPS guy who's helping Elise up is like, "You think that's funny?" And then punches him, and then everyone else is like, "It's a brawl for all!" And then they just started
it's like someone bumps into another person, and they're like, "How dare you bump into me?" Punch.
All of a sudden, it's the fucking Royal Rumble. Everyone's like, I'm in, tag me in. And like
tag in the Royal Rumble.
Oh, so they don't get tagged in there? They just run in, that's all?
Just a run in.
Well, there you go. It's the Royal Rumble. And you see there's Leo holding on to the ropes so we won't get kicked out.
Yeah.
That's my strategy.
Hold on. It's like I'm frozen here. Get it?
Yeah. Phoebe is responsible for punching Elise and other participation in the fight.
She gives someone a noogie because she did it all for the noogie.
But like, everyone else is part of this fight too. You can't blame Phoebe for all of this. It's like a just insanity. Everyone went crazy for a second.
Yeah, they're all idiots, but Phoebe did start it by sucker punching her boss.
She started that, but then the rest of it escalating is not her.
They'd be all fired.
Yeah, they'd all be fired. So really, like, Phoebe is culpable for her actions, but everyone else is too, and they seem to act like it's only Phoebe. And like, everyone is like glaring at her when she comes in, like she did this, and it's like, well, you guys were the ones punching each other. Really, the UPS guy was the one that escalated it.
Like, the only way this could make sense is if they gave some bullshit about Phoebe, like somehow projecting her anger once she got the anger to everyone else, but there's nothing like that going on.
Pollen is
her anger pollen, but there's nothing like that going on. They don't say anything like that's happening. So it's just everyone else goes, "Oh, I'm going to fight for no reason too." Like, okay. That's another big issue with this too. Like, there should be more interesting time travel elements since they jump back the day, but it's like, it's really uninteresting crap. Like, oh yeah, someone got some boo-boos, and it's like, oh, why did Chris take his charge? Oh, because he thought she was hot. Like, wow, what a answer. I'm glad we went back in time to see why he agreed to this charge that we saw he was sleeping with.
Yeah.
Like, none of this is interesting.
That's very true. Speaking of uninteresting, we see Phoebe get shoved into a shelf, and that's how she cuts her head. Origin.
Wow, Phoebe origins.
At Paige's temp job, she talks to her coworker and says she'll go confront him with her the next morning. The dragon, there's not more than one. The dragon flies by the window and distracts a coworker who spills coffee on the back of her shirt, but then the next shot, it's the front. Yeah. Like, he bumps into her back and then she's turned around.
Like, she kind of teleports almost as he's bumping into her.
It is kind of funny. Like, she's like, "Hey, what's up?" And he's like, "Yeah, I think I saw a dragon." There was a dragon outside the window. He seems to be one of, like, maybe 2 or 3 people that notice a dragon in fucking San Francisco.
Yeah, flying around the city in the middle of the day. Like,
he's blowing fire, destroying the city. We see a shot of the dragon blowing fire. Like, no one...
It's insane, because the news eventually pops up saying, like, oh, some people say it's this bird-like creature. It resembles a dragon. Like, there would be so many people filming. There's people filming the sky all the time looking for little dots flying around. There's people filming angry leaves in the forest. Telling me they missed a dragon flying around the middle of San Francisco?
Yeah, 2003 was a little more limited as far as, just pulling out your phone
and taking
that limited,
a camera,
but you could do it. And also,
a lot of people still did that shit.
Yeah, you could... As long as this dragon is around, people could pull out their cameras and film this. Not one person did?
No.
Ridiculous. Many people die in this episode. I don't care what they say. You can see them destroying the city.
Yeah, it's the dragon has like a nest made out of broken cars and buildings. Yeah.
You see like cars blowing up, and it's an apocalypse by the end. No way, no one died.
Why is responsible for the deaths of so many? Again, this could be a real emotional moment and mean something if Piper registered anything in her stupid head.
She doesn't care. At least she didn't have to bind Wyatt's powers until he was old enough. Like
that's the important thing.
Yeah.
Piper got to be lazy.
At least she got what she wanted.
Some of you may die, but it's a sacrifice I am willing to make.
Speaking of dumb Piper, at the manor, she is consoling a crying Wyatt, and then he orbs them out. To be continued. Paige goes to Phoebe's office, where she is assaulting people. Yeah, this brawl is insane. People are getting slid across tables, someone gets thrown through a glass door. Like, this is not a little fight. Like, people went insane. Like, even without Phoebe, like, being part of this is insane, because she's fighting people, but she's not throwing people through glass. She's not doing, like, that's just them being nutballs. Anyway, Paige pulls Phoebe away, and Phoebe says, "Oh no, did I do all this?
Did I do that?"
Why does she ask this? It's not like her powers make her forget what she's done.
Yeah.
So that's confusing. Paige tells her about the dragon, and some office guys that are fighting nearby are like, "Did you say a dragon?" And then they go back to fighting. Meanwhile, Piper and Wyatt orb into, they're like just outside a tunnel in the middle of a street. This is apparently a famous filming tunnel in LA. Yeah, they've used it in many things.
A bunch of movies and stuff.
Including Baywatch. Wyatt could have done this any ding-dang day and gotten run over by a car immediately.
And I wish he had.
I don't know why he takes them there. I think to find the dragon, I guess. Because the dragon's inside the tunnel.
Right.
So Paige calls her on the phone to find out where she is. And once she says it, she and Phoebe orb in. And then Piper bitches at them about exposure. Her son has summoned a fucking dragon because she won't find his powers. And she's like, "You orbed into an empty street, you dumb bitches."
Paige, this is your fault.
Piper, you... So mad! Right on cue, a flaming car bursts out of the tunnel. So they're dead. Followed by the dragon, off to kill many more people. When we come back from commercial break, a news anchor tells us it's a miracle no one was hurt. They're trying to cover over this, like pretend like no one died in this. But it's impossible. Impossible.
Yeah, like thousands dead.
They think that this is terrorists. They're like, maybe terrorists did this. Except for those few reports about, a bird that breathes fire.
Of which we probably have like thousands of people sending in camcorder footage of this thing by this point.
Yeah, it would impossible not to be caught on camera. And I don't know why they wouldn't just do that, because the whole thing is exposure anyway. I guess maybe they're pretending like they have a chance to fix this at this point, but they wouldn't.
No.
There's no way they could cover any of that up. So Piper is putting a Band-Aid on Phoebe's head, and then Phoebe goes,
"Ouch! Actually, I'm reacting to your pain."
She asks why Piper's blaming herself. 'Cause it's her fault! That's why she's blaming herself. She thinks that she's being a bad mom because she left him in front of the TV. And that's what caused the whole thing, not that he is powerful and can summon a fucking dragon and all that shit.
Where's the part 2 where she, flew off at Leo? She's like, "You're not here, and you're blaming me?"
Oh yeah, that's later in the episode.
Later.
Yeah. So they know Wyatt is super powerful. He can summon a fucking dragon, but they never consider binding his powers once. Does not come up. Phoebe says, not sarcastically, I should add, that Piper must be so proud of Wyatt for summoning a dragon that's killed several people.
You must be so proud of your little hellion.
I just can't deal with this right now because I'm just thinking about the paper and how I might get fired. Oh, this is the worst day for me, Phoebe.
Paige says that anything connected to the dragon is what's been erased, like coffee stains and riots, except those things happened for everyone else and weren't erased. They just didn't remember them. So she's wrong.
Yeah.
Phoebe's just like,
"Oh, it's a little magic mess. It's fine. We'll fix it."
A little magic mess. Thousands dead. A little magic mess.
Yeah, it's not like, something really ruined our day.
The cleaners appear and introduce themselves, since they were just written into the show, despite many other instances of exposure where they didn't show up or get a mention. They don't remember that the day's been rewound, so apparently it's more powerful than them, the spell they cast with the prank.
I love
lyrics.
that. It's like, this is the point the sisters are like, "Oh, what can we do? What can we do?" And they're like, "Perhaps we can help." But then it becomes, and you better fix it or we'll do it.
Like they're like, what do we do? And they're like, perhaps we can help. Dramatic reveal. And then they're like, anyway, help yourselves.
You fix it or we will by erasing your baby. It's like, well, that's not helpful. Why'd you offer help? That seemed like it was a good thing.
It seemed at this point it was beyond fixing from their perspective anyway. So I don't know. But yeah, basically what they say is, if you eliminate the exposure risk, we won't take Wyatt away. Piper does try to blow them up again, but they're chill about it. Why do the cleaners
even bother with this, though? Why don't they just erase the dragon and erase the baby?
I think because Wyatt was the one that caused it, so...
So, why couldn't they erase the dragon and the baby?
Oh, the dragon and the baby, you're right, yeah. Well, they did erase the dragon and the baby in the other timeline.
Yeah, why didn't they do it again? Why do they let the sisters mess around and do this for
I
no
think this
reason?
is exactly what happened, though. They told them to fix it and they couldn't, and then they took
How
Wyatt
are they
away.
going to fix it, though? Like you said, it's already beyond fixing. A dragon's going around killing people. People have seen it. You already need some magic and dust going on to fix people's memories of seeing a dragon flying around. You can't just be like, you guys go kill the dragon, I guess. That's going to make everyone forget about it. No, it wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't know.
It's too late, so they're screwed.
This is when Piper goes upstairs to call Leo and ask how to stop the cleaners. That's where she's bitching at him. They're bitching at each other. It's a mutual bitch off.
It's a bitch off, everyone. It's a bitch off. Do 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 do. Do, 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 do,
put a cork in it, Zane. This isn't your episode of Charmed. Leo's like, well, how could you let him summon a dragon? And then she's like, well, you know, you weren't around, so... And he's like, well, you told me to go away. Like, yeah, it's all Piper's fault. Like, it's basically, you know, like, how could you let him do this? She could fix it very easily, but doesn't. And then, like, she's like, well, you weren't around, and she was the one who told him to go away, so it's always everyone's fault but Piper's.
You should have fixed this, Leo.
Piper's blaming herself? This is her blaming herself?
Yeah, this is Leo's fault.
Somehow Leo did this.
Stay away, Leo. Well, if you hadn't have stayed away, this wouldn't have happened.
Don't listen to me. Listen to me.
This is when Leo says, like, we're shit out of luck. They're powered by good and evil, so basically you can't stop the cleaners. They're unstoppable. They're the Terminator.
They're unbelievable.
Hey, how you doing? Good to be evil.
But other episodes it won't. They suck. They have the power to rewrite history, he says, which is why they left so many loose ends that didn't make sense. Leo is there to inspire her. Like, he's like, well, they wouldn't give you a chance if you couldn't fix this in some way. Perhaps maternally you can fix this. You can lactate your poison at the dragon or something.
Maybe I'll do that at you right now.
I deserve this. And then she kicks him into chunklets. So Piper goes to the attic where Paige and Phoebe are trying to make a vanquishing potion for the dragon.
You two still alive?
He's still alive. Fuck.
Phoebe says they're trying to make the most powerful potion they can. I don't know if they don't accomplish this because they don't actually end up making it, but
it doesn't go anywhere.
Yeah, they say they need a dragon's scale for this. And while they're doing this, Phoebe makes a throw-up noise like, and she says, this, according to her, this is her channeling the feelings of everyone outside being terrorized by the dragon. She says she's never felt such pee in her life. She says she's never felt such fear and pain before in her life. The most fear and pain she's ever felt in her life, channeling thousands of people in the city, is for 1 second. She doesn't even say it like she's scared. She doesn't even go like, I've never channeled this before in my life. She just says it casually.
Well, I also peed myself a little.
She says it like she's ordering dinner at a restaurant. Oh, I've never felt such pain and fear in my life.
No.
Peter, can you find that sound clip and put it in there? Phoebe experiencing the most fear and pain she's ever felt in her life. Anyway, cut to the apocalypse outside. There's fires everywhere. There's burnt out cars. There's people running in terror. Like this
people with their heads chopped off.
Yeah, there's heads on pikes. Cats and dogs living together. Mass hysteria.
A bunch of people decide to just fight each other. Like, oh, that dragon's here anyway. Let's fight. Like the people at the Bay Mirror.
The people at the Bay Mirror are fighting to this day. So the girls orb into this apocalypse with Wyatt. And they find the dragon there in a nest of wreckage. He's just put a bunch of steel beams and cars and shit into like a nest. They still need to get the scale. So Paige orbs the scale off of the dragon, and that pisses it off.
She doesn't seem to get it, though. She asks for the scale and then doesn't really seem to appear.
It really doesn't matter. It's kind of unclear. I thought she took it and he was mad because it got pulled off.
That's the implication, but we never see them actually have the scale, so it's kind of strange.
Yeah, it really is a moot point, because what happens is Piper is like, I know what to do. She rushes in front of the dragon, assuming wrongly that Wyatt loves her enough to save her. And then we see Piper's horrible, gruesome demise. She turns into a comical skeleton and then goes into dust.
Actually, 100 out of 100 best episode ever.
Yeah, it's actually it's the finale of the show. Just kidding. What happens is Wyatt gets rid of it. So the vanquishing potion didn't even matter. It's like he was like protecting his mom.
Build up to the stupid vanquishing potion. They don't even use it.
Why did they not think to just try and coax the baby into doing it? Like the baby understands minimally some stuff. Like it's like it's not going to get full conversations, but the baby's old enough to understand certain things. So they got him to orb them to where the dragon is. So why can't they say like, hey, can you put the dragon back in the TV? Like she just decides, I'm going to run in front of it and hope that he takes the dragon away. The world is still an apocalypse, so it didn't really matter. The cleaners come to take Wyatt anyway. So they orb home. We're back at the opening scene. The cleaners take Wyatt, begin to change things again. But this time the girls remember because of their spell. I didn't know that was part of it. You could just keep remembering.
Yeah, apparently. It'd be really funny if it just
a
loop.
Yeah. They're stuck in a time loop. We've done this 30 times already.
Fix it.
So when the cleaners leave, Piper comes up with a plan. The plan is expose so much magic, the cleaners have to stop them. To stop them. Make them stop us.
I love to when it says like, well, what if the cleaners just erase us? They wouldn't dare.
She says they wouldn't dare. The arrogance.
They wouldn't dare.
She doesn't even like add to that. She just goes, they wouldn't dare.
Well, when they talk to the cleaners later, it's like, where's this so important? You can't erase us. We're important champions.
Yeah, I mean, it is a correct assumption, but a smug assumption.
Yeah. It's like, actually, we just got some new charmed ones. You three are expendable.
Yeah, we got Macy, Maggie, and Mel to replace you. How do you like them apples?
That'll go well.
That's how the reboot happened. Like, they fucked up one too many times. They're like, we'll get some new charmed ones.
That should be what happens, though, when they act so arrogant about things like, there's other charmed ones. We don't need you.
Apparently, like, they're like, well, here's why you shouldn't erase us. So they were prepared to erase them until they made that speech anyway. So it's like, they didn't really care about the charmed ones disappearing.
No. The show likes to go back and forth, too, about whether they can appoint new charmed ones or whatnot, and like, the sisters are so stupid, and they were going to throw the book away at one point and just quit, so it's
the charmed ones are nothing but a burden, so get rid of them. So here's what they do. They go to the news, which is airing live.
They go to the local news. Like, what's the biggest place where we can show off magic? The local news!
The local news! Despite the fact a dragon went unnoticed by much of San Francisco, they thought the local news was going to get the most exposure. Phoebe and Paige orb in, and Phoebe levitates the weatherman into the air. Paige steals the anchor's jacket, and they're just causing a bunch of chaos. They tell them to check in with Piper at the Golden Gate Bridge. Somehow they have a camera set up there. Maybe they orbed one there or something. I'm not sure how they set this up.
They would have had to steal a camera and have it set up there, and then also use their powers to make them switch to that feed, because otherwise they wouldn't.
Yeah, I don't know. Magic. A wizard did it. They're wizards. So Holly Marie Combs appears in front of a green screen of the bridge. Because you know an effect's going to happen. She makes it disappear with a spell, killing thousands.
Yeah. Even if, like, she didn't make it, completely intangible, probably a bunch of people would, like, spin their cars off the bridge accidentally if it disappeared while they're driving on it.
Yeah, there's railings and stuff. They wouldn't immediately...
but they could crash through it.
Yeah, they might crash their cars. I don't think they'd immediately go off the bridge.
They could, though. It's like, what's going on?
There's no way at any point in time that no one is driving across the Golden Gate Bridge. Mm-hmm. So she made that disappear. So she either disappeared a bunch of people, or they fell into the water and
caused
died.
A massive pileup or something.
I don't know. They could do shit like this the whole time? Like, that seems like a huge fucking deal to make the Golden Gate Bridge disappear.
Yeah, that was, very easy in this episode for some reason.
Because they're the most powerful witches. And then they orb back home and wait for their plan to come to fruition. We'll go to the Winchester and wait for this to all blow over. So the cleaners show up.
Mr. Clean.
And they're like, well, I mean, this is kind of pointless. We're just going to erase everything that you do. And eventually, if you keep doing it, we're going to get rid of you. And Piper gives a smuggy speech about how, like, if you get rid of them, then the balance of good and evil tips.
Yeah.
Good will win if they're gone.
We're so important.
They don't fucking save innocents or anything. What are you talking about?
They're gonna quit in another couple years anyway.
Yeah. We're in season 6, come on. But apparently this was a good enough excuse.
She's like, well, you're gonna have to clean up our shit for 50 years if you don't stop.
I would love it if the cleaners are like, fine, we're bored, we don't have anything else to do. Yeah. So yeah, and then they spent 50 years just going like, no, and then fixing their shit. And like, come on, give us Wyatt back. No. Oh, fine, we'll give him back, and he's like 50 years old. Now enjoy that. You lost his whole childhood. So the cleaners ask how she's going to control her super powerful son, and Piper gives like a non-answer. And then they're like, good enough.
Yeah.
She's like, I'll do it. Like, all right. So Wyatt's back, and then Phoebe has the gall to ask them for a further favor. She's like, can you erase that riot at work? Because I'd be too distracted to fight evil without my job that constantly distracts me from fighting evil.
Shut up, Phoebe.
That's all she does at her job is just say, like, I can't save innocents because my job.
Mm-hmm.
Never, like, this is just a detriment to her. Like, leave her fired.
Yeah. It's so selfish. It's like Paige doesn't even ask for them to fix her thing.
Yeah. Well, I mean,
which is sort of about helping someone else. It's at least about helping someone else more than Phoebe's.
Paige's thing happens the next day anyway, so it hasn't happened yet.
Right. But she could say, like, can you kill that evil boss?
Can you kill him? Can you do me a favor and kill this sexist guy?
Can you get this guy fired or something? Yeah. She hasn't asked for anything like that to fix this.
She's not an idiot like Phoebe and Piper yet. Like, she's like, I can deal with my own problems.
Mm-hmm.
The cleaners actually have a classy exit. They wish them luck before they go. So.
Classier than they deserve.
I was gonna say, I did say Paige wasn't an idiot, but she is an idiot, because this is the next scene with her. She is absolutely insane for this.
Yeah, her plan makes no sense here.
So this is the plot with the sexist boss and her coworker. So she goes to work the next day, glamored to look like the coworker that's being harassed by this guy.
Mm-hmm.
So she goes in pretending to be her and starts flirting with him so she can orb a vase over his head, smash him into his head until he's unconscious. So she's exposed magic by doing this to him and completely ruins the life of this woman she's pretending to be.
Yeah, but then she goes, here's the plan. I overheard him sexually harassing you and will sue.
No, I overheard him threatening
you,
Yeah, she goes out, does not tell her what happened, just goes like, I heard him threatening you. You're lucky you're not going to sue, so...
Yeah, just go
That's
with
the plan, just lie, which they could have done without assaulting him with a flower pot.
And the plan is lie? Like,
I just feel
why is that a good solution?
There are so many other things she could have done here other than that.
It's just they ran out of time, also, basically, I think. It's just like, what you do? Oh, there's a flower pot on him in the end?
This is the exact same plot from her first personal gain thing. where there's a sexist creepo, and then she casts a spell, and then she gets big boobs because it's personal gain. But this time, it's fine.
Yeah. This show doesn't care about personal gain anymore, so they might as well just cast money spells and not go to work.
No one really cared, but here's Chris's conclusion. Leo visits him, but this time he didn't sleep with his charge, and he's abandoning her, so Leo's like...
Not?
Yeah, he said, like, he changed his mind, and he was getting dressed, so I don't think he... I think because he was focused on what he was doing, he decided he wasn't going to sleep with her.
Oh, because he remembered why it existed.
Yeah, he remembered why he was...
why it was a total boner killer.
He's like, I can't sleep with someone knowing that my brother's evil Nickelback in the future. Yeah, he didn't sleep with his charge, and he's like, I'm going to abandon her. Fuck off. And then Leo's like, alright, I guess I'll reassign her if you feel that way. Bye, Chris. I'll get you next time.
Yes, sir.
I don't trust you. Bye.
Shut up, Dad. What?
I have to go to the house to poop.
Elder shit!
Yeah, that's what's going on in the background in the final scene where Piper is holding Wyatt gently by the window, imagining what evil bidding he'll do for her in the future. Fade to credits as poop noises in the background.
Imagining herself riding a dragon, killing people.
So what are your final thoughts on this episode, Phelan?
Pile of garbage. It's like they messed up, the mystery element, which we went over, and they don't have anything interesting. It should be like, oh, how these situations pop up, with the 3 individual stories kind of going on. But it's a really uninteresting thing. Oh, wow, Phoebe caused a fight because she's being an idiot with her empathy again. And
yeah.
it's like, her Paige has a plot it doesn't feel like they wanted to bother finishing by the end, where she just throws a flower pot on him. Like, it's not that interesting of a reveal. It's like the coworker comes up and says, yo, you were supposed to help me with my sexual harassment boss, and oh, I forgot. Oh,
yeah.
Cool, what a mystery.
Well, I guess it's supposed to be part of Paige finding herself. She's like, should I stay at this job? Should I
find herself?
And then she's like, well, I'm helping people. I should stay at this job because I'm doing good.
But there's a more interesting way to tell that story than this.
Yeah.
My problem is, with the time travel element, there should be something really interesting to go back to change or see how this happened, and it's not.
Yeah.
They wasted it for storytelling, and they wasted it for anything interesting happening.
Yeah.
It's garbage. What do you think of it?
It's a bad episode, and it's annoying and frustrating, and a lot of my problems with season 6 and the show in general show their ugly heads here. They rear their ugly dragon heads.
Mm-hmm.
Not very good. So Phelan, who is your Margoyle, standout loser of the episode, or your Carman, the hero?
Margoyle is Piper for not binding that baby's powers and getting people killed.
Absolutely.
She's an idiot. Absolute idiot. And then she blames everyone but herself. I have no Carman. I have a second Margoyle, which is Phoebe, for being an annoying sack of shit, making everything about herself.
This is so funny because, literally, this is exactly the same. I was like, I have no Carman. I cannot think of a Carman for this episode. Everyone was a loser. And yeah, Piper has to be, because everything happens because of her, so. Major loser. Phoebe sucks no matter what.
Yeah, such a bad episode, 2 Margoyles instead of a Carman.
Alright, everyone. Well, if you enjoyed us bitching about charms, we'd appreciate it if you liked, subscribed, or reviewed wherever you're listening or watching this on. You can find us on YouTube at youtube.com/Movie Nights the Series and youtube.com/Phalis. You can support us on Patreon. Vote in the polls to see what Charmed Rewinds we do next or see videos ahead of time. You can support us on patreon.com/Movie Nights and patreon.com/Phalis. Thanks to Peter Hunter for editing this podcast for us. And he did the theme song, and he's so cool. You can find him on Twitter at PretorHunter, and the same name for his YouTube channel, where he does cool Let's Plays. What hashtag should we use, Phelan?
Hashtag PB.
Hashtag Magic Royal Rumble. Yeah. All right, I think that's it. We'll be doing another Charmed Rewind this month because they tied. So tune in next time for Scry Hard. We'll see you Charmanders in the next one. Bye!